You're listening to localwebradio.fm. Community-minded, locally focused.
Are you a hardworking business owner striving for success online? There is help. Welcome to the School of Internet Marketing podcast, featuring candid conversations and inspiring stories of online success. Now here's your host.
Hello, this is Nick Jaworski, and I am your host. And today I will be continuing my conversation with James Martell, founder of the School of Internet Marketing and VP of Product Development for jambMEDIA. Today's topic, Google rankings, real traffic, and the 5 things Google cares about. Now, before James joins us, just a reminder that if you have questions or require any sort of assistance, you can reach James's team at jambMEDIA and the School of Internet Marketing at 604-542-0747 and at jambMEDIA.com. James Martell has taught tens of thousands of business owners how to effectively market their businesses online through his ebooks, courses, live trainings and webinars, podcasts, and speaking engagements. James, like always, it is great to be talking with you again.
Hey, Nick. Yeah, good to be back.
Okay, so I just read this bio of yours. You've taught tens of thousands of business owners how to effectively market their business. And so how long have you been working on optimizing pages for Google rankings?
There's a good question.
I've got all the good questions, James.
It's been a while, I'll tell you. Well, let me just think back. I says, let's just say the first time that I received my first Google PageRank 0 penalty would have been December 2001. This is when I learned that you actually have to figure out how Google works in order to survive and thrive with Google. So that would have been, I would have got started around the beginning of 2001.
Okay, wait a minute. What's a 0 penalty?
Oh, well, Google has a ranking system called PageRank. And although today it's a little bit different, back then it was everything. And Google would rank a page on your website from 0 to 10. And a 10 would be somebody like Google.com or Apple.com. And there, at the time, there was only 8 or 10 PR10 sites or PageRank 10 sites in the world. And then they would collectively fall down from there. So it works so similar to the Richter scale. If you've got a PageRank 1, to get to a PageRank 2, you have to do 10 times. You'd be 10 times stronger, right. and then just kind of work your way up. So we were working our way up all right until we made a major mistake, and which we can kind of cover off today a little bit as we go through this. But we made a major mistake, and we were awarded the infamous Google PageRank 0 penalty, which basically takes your site right out of the Google listings.
That is not good.
That is a bad thing.
So you've learned all kinds of things.
Yeah, so we've been making our living personally through our own websites and through helping clients in the latter years here on gaining top ranking. So it's been very much a part of our core business now since I guess 13, 14 years ago.
All right, so we've all heard the saying, content is king. And is that still true in sort of the advanced algorithms that Google has?
It is true, and even more so than it was back then. Back then, we could play little games, and you'd write some content, and then you would stuff it with keyword phrases. Mm-hmm. And we had to in order to rank highly in the results. There really was no way around it. And listeners might have seen that content from way back, where you would be reading a paragraph and the same word or same keyword phrase keeps recurring. Yeah. It made no sense at all. But to the search engines, that's what we had to do to get highly ranked. Whereas today, if we were to employ anything close to those tactics, we would not see rankings at all. So content is still king for sure, but there's some things we need to consider. Google really places, I would say, a premium on authenticity. There's a hard word. Where they're really looking for ways to verify your brand. So a local business owner has content on their website, but there's also content in other places on the web that Google looks at that relates to that business that helps Google to understand who the business is. Because just like the games that were played in the past, some of the listeners may have seen other websites out there that are kind of mimicking them, trying to scoop away some of their traffic. So Google's really all about verification of the business owners, that it's actually a website that's owned by the owner, that it's authentic content, and when they can kind of get the pieces and put the puzzle together, then they can determine, you know what, yes, this is a real business. We've determined that they're authentic. We've gone around the internet with the Google spiders, and they're evaluating things like your website content, press releases. They're looking at the business's videos, maybe on YouTube or Vimeo or both. Mm-hmm. They're looking at any presentations they might be finding out on the internet, maybe on SlideShare, or they're looking at maybe the business has podcasts they're running or articles that they're published on other websites or PDFs, white papers. All of this content is king. And in the early days, content to us was pretty much a page or two. Today, it's all of the different varieties of content, and then the quality and the authenticity of that content that really makes sense. So content is absolutely king.
And when you say content, you're not just saying that your website is full, but that you have connections to other kinds of content?
Yeah, Google is looking at the different types of content that is published on the internet that is directly tied in some way to you. So there may be that content may have a link back to your site. There may be a mention of your business name, your address, your phone number. There's many ways that they can look at that content trying to determine if it's your content and how it relates. So Google's all about importance and relevance. So they're looking for that content out on the net. Because if you keep in mind with Google, what they're trying to do, they really have one mandate when it comes to the Google results. They're just trying to serve up the most relevant results to somebody who comes to Google and does a Google search. Mm-hmm. So the way that they do that is through verification, authenticity, and by really evaluating the content at a very, very high level.
Okay, well, we have to take a break. So we'll be right back with James Martell, founder of the School of Internet Marketing and VP of Product Development for jambMEDIA. And we're going to talk about the 5 things you need to focus on if you want to see high rankings and real traffic from Google. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Shopping for the lowest mortgage rate? Looking to refinance? Catch Jared Dreyer in the Mortgage Lab on localwebradio.fm.
Take control of your financial future with sound investing with Byron Stryloff, Senior Investment Advisor and Chartered Financial Planner with over 30 years of experience on the home channel on localwebradio.fm. To schedule a face-to-face conversation, you can reach Byron at 604-535-3700. That's 604-535-3700 and online at www.byronstryloff.com.
Buying or selling a home on the Semiahmoo Peninsula? Catch up on local market conditions on This Week in Real Estate with Lance and Connie Marples from Sutton West Coast Realty on localwebradio.fm.
And we're back, and I'm here with James Martell, and we're discussing the 5 things you need to know and focus on if you want to see high rankings and real traffic from Google. All right, James, you've promised 5 things. So we're gonna keep track.
Okay, and I would actually recommend if listeners have a pen handy, jot these down and put them on a notepad or a sticky note. Actually, sticky note won't quite be big enough, but put them somewhere that you're not going to forget these. All right. And if you can master these, you can have an absolutely amazing local brand and really take it to your competition, so to speak. So number 1, it gets to this area of content quality. So number 1 is content quality. It needs to be professionally written. It needs to be authentic, meaning we can't just be making stuff up. If you've got content, you can share real stories. The more granular your content can be, the more detail-oriented, the more authentic it can be, the more relevant it can be to your topic, the better off. And if you happen to be a local business, you want to make sure the content is locally targeted. Meaning, if you happen to live in a community and you're writing an article about the community, you want to make sure you're making references to the community where it makes sense, because Google can quickly pick up on the fact that this article is about this area by looking at the words within the page. And they also look at things, we get back to professionally written, because Google is a master of linguistics. That's what Google is. They study language and they learn how words work. And they can very quickly pick up these days that if the content is of quality, it's professionally written, it's authentic, it's relevant to the topic that was searched for, and it is locally targeted.
All right, so number one, content quality.
Content quality.
Number two.
Number two would be content frequency. Lots of sites out there that were built by some, and God bless them, graphic designer, when handed off to a client to sit there and just die on the vine because there's no way to update it, and the business owner doesn't have any access to it, and it just sits there, and it's basically a static website. And in Google's mind, and I've heard them say this at a couple of conferences, one of the guys, he says, if you're not going to update your website, why the heck should we? So consistent weekly updates, fresh content, is something that Google thrives upon. Google has spiders out there, little software programs that run around the net. One of them is called FreshBot, and all FreshBot does is look for new content. And a site that is fresh and up to date and being continually added to, maybe a fresh blog post a week or a new podcast every couple times a month, and you've got some comments and stuff flowing into the site, you've got some activity on the site, will always do better than a static website that basically looks almost abandoned to Google. So definitely ongoing, consistent weekly updates of your site.
All right, so content quality, content frequency, number three.
Number three would be content variety. And this plays back into content is king. And we're not just talking about content on your own website, although you can have a large variety of content on your own site. But you want to have content on your site, but you also want to have articles out on other people's sites, other webmaster sites, maybe podcasts published in podcasting directories. We've got Vimeo and, of course, YouTube, where we can have videos. All of this can be pointing back to our site. And within each of these, we've got, we can splinter off any one of these types of content into many different forms of content, but they're really looking at variety. Are you publishing press releases? Maybe you've got white papers out on the internet that are pointing back to you. So content variety is something that is very important, and it's no longer good enough just to have our own website. In the last session, we talked about expanding your online footprint or your internet footprint, and this is pretty easy to do. And I'll give you an example. This doesn't have to be crazy difficult. I was talking to a local chiropractor just the other day, and he mentions he does a video every day. He does a little 2-minute video every day where he just gets in front of his little smartphone camera and he does a video and then he uploads it to YouTube. And over time, he's grown that very nicely, and it's grown out very well. Maybe you're someone that does PowerPoint presentations, and you want to head over to SlideShare, slideshare.net, a website that gets some 700 million visitors a year, and you can upload your presentation there. But you can also include your business description. And we talked about a little bit about the importance of your NAP, your name, address, and phone number, which you want to include in your content as often as possible when you're publishing out on other sites. So content, definitely content variety is something that really needs to be. And we're gonna kind of pull that apart as we move through upcoming sessions.
Cool. All right. I'm repeating them for my own memory. So,
sure.
Content quality, content frequency, content variety. Number 4.
Content distribution. So now that we've got the different types of content, the articles, the podcasts, the videos, the press releases, the PDFs, the white papers, now, as we kind of alluded to in the last one, now we need to make a really strong effort on distributing this content. We want to widen our online footprint. So it's really important that we have a Facebook page that's fresh and up to date. Back again, all of this, if we put a little underline under all of this, it's content. And if you think about the internet, it is only content, whether it's audio, video, text, it's only content. So we want to make sure we've got good content distribution to Facebook, to Twitter, Google+, YouTube. If you're podcasting, which I highly recommend businesses consider, to Spreaker, iTunes, SlideShare. There's just, if you've got the content and you've taken the time to actually amass this content, there's lots of great, highly reputable websites that you can submit it to for free that will give you great benefit with Google.
All right. And the last one, and I want to put like a drum roll in here. Number 5.
Well, a drum roll is a good thing because this really is this is important because it gets back to if we can master these 5 things or even do them reasonably well. And when we talked in the last session about your competitors and looking at their online footprint, with a little bit of effort here, we can get so far ahead of them just by taking this into consideration. So if we flip right back up to the number 1 item for a second, content quality. If we've got really high quality content, number 5 becomes easy because number 5 is simply content popularity. And right. Google looks at how popular this content is these days, and they've got many ways to do so. In the early days, they would look at a page, and they still do, but now it's only one factor, where if a page of content was getting linked to from other websites, they would look at that page as more popular than a page that wasn't linked to. But now in this new social era that we live in, they look at other things to determine, in addition to what we call a backlink or an inbound link, they look at things like how often is the page being liked? How often is the page being tweeted about? And we've all seen the little social sharing buttons at the top of a page. How often is it being the Google Plus button being clicked on? Are there any comments? A lot of these sites have a comment, a field down at the bottom of the page for the reader to engage and ask some questions and leave a comment. How many comments are being left? So really, Google can have a good look at this. So if we're churning out content and nobody's sharing it, nobody's liking it, nobody's plussing it, nobody's commenting on it, it's like, who cares? And Google looks at it the same way. So we want to make sure we're focused on high quality content that's frequently being developed, that is in a great variety, that's being well distributed, and that's also popular. And this gets back to authenticity. One of the things Google looks at, as we said earlier, it needs to be authentic. Well, one of the ways they can tell if it's authentic content is through popularity.
And of course, if people want to learn more about these, I'm sure we're going to sort of peel apart and sort of the understanding how to do some of these things.
Exactly. That's what we're going to get into. We're going to start digging into this as we move through each of these sessions. We're going to kind of continue to pull back the layers because I can pretty much hear some people thinking, "Oh my God, there's going to be a lot of work to do," and there will be some work to do, but we're going to set it up in such a way that it's easy, it's manageable, and it's fun. And not only that, it's highly profitable. You'll be able to outrank your competitors and get such a head start over them and such a lead into the distance here that they're going to wonder where the heck you came from all of a sudden.
Well, that's a great place to stop, a nice cliffhanger, because we're out of time. And just a reminder to the listeners that if you have any questions or require any sort of assistance, you can reach James's team at jambMEDIA and the School of Internet Marketing at 604-542-0747 and at jambMEDIA.com. James, until next time, we'll get all the answers. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about the School of Internet Marketing and to get access to all exclusive courses and interviews, visit theschoolofinternetmarketing.com. That's www.theschoolofinternetmarketing.com.
Local stories, local voices. We're localwebradio.fm.